McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy David with Black Wealth Renaissance, and I'm here today to tell you guys about Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the best place to make a podcast. Anchor is a free app that has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast straight from your phone. Anchor also distributes your podcast across all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. You can also make money on your podcast with Anchor with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're looking to get started on your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.
Them niggas scared to make that move. You can't relate to that. I roll the dice, shit. If I lose, I'm gonna be shaking back. Cause lessons learned within the loss just elevate the fact that trial and error just the only way. Ain't no escaping that. I wake up, hit 100 push-ups, then I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking, then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out? True to this game, but I'm a lifer, ayy. Feel like we finna change the cycle, ayy. That's the most success, you know we thriving, ayy. That's the most depression for our rivals, ayy. Could teach a lesson on survival, ayy. You know I'm from the bottom, my pockets ain't it.
Everybody to another episode of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Your boy David BWR, 1/4 of the Black Wealth Renaissance. Checking out my co-host for the episode, Jalen. How you feeling, my brother?
What up? It's your boy Jalen, man. Another quarter of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast.
Yep.
I'm feeling great, man. It's a weekday. We got a special brother in the building.
Man, can't pull up on us.
Yeah, energy's going crazy, man. Is it really? God just been aligning a lot of stuff, man. So.
Yeah, man. It's been a pretty good week. I say pretty past a good 2 weeks. Definitely glad for today's episode. Glad we could connect with this brother. Like you said, because everything kind of been divine. You know, we had some situations in the past, and people helped us out. And you know, this is another one of those situations.
Hey, man. It's all about the connections. Just gotta say, shout out to DeMarco, man.
Yeah, shout out to our brother DeMarco, man. If y'all ain't heard our episode with DeMarco Thomas, y'all definitely need to go check that out. Yeah, real talk. Metro Max is the plug. But as always, y'all, want to tell y'all thank you for tuning in. Make sure you leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It helps us grow the show, helps us get out there to more people, helps us spread this mission, this message, and this movement. And now with that said, got to get into our guest today, like we just mentioned. Brother came in from Atlanta. He pulled up on us. Then this man, I say he's from Atlanta, but he really global, right?
Yeah.
Like he really the plug and the connect globally. This brother is the man when it comes to government contracts. He's teaching people not only how to get these contracts, but how to win and like really maximize this business in the government contracts. He's showing us that the government is the largest customer that you can have and how you can take advantage of that. None other than Mr. Hamza Sabree, the CEO of Global Connects. Hamza, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. Thank you all for having me. Like, seriously, you know, anytime I get a chance to speak on any one platform about spreading awareness of government contracting and just for tapping in how to do business with the government, I'm with it 1,000%. I'll come all the way to Alaska. If y'all was located in Alaska, I'll be in Alaska. Come and speak on your platform.
Hey, I don't want to visit, but I don't want to be out there. I ain't gonna lie.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
but
that's fun.
Definitely appreciate it, man. Appreciate you being willing to come and share this knowledge with our audience and our people, man. Definitely don't take it for granted. So we're gonna get right into the Hamza.
Let's go.
Same way we start with everybody. We want to ask you, like, how did you get your start? Like, what even led you into government contracting?
All right, so, you know, I was looking for employment opportunity. I was at a point in my life, I'm trying to level up. Like, I always like to do things that get me outside my comfort zone, because when you do things outside your comfort zone, it allows you to grow. Mm-hmm. So I was looking for employment opportunity in the construction, demolition, asbestos removal, mold remediation. Something triggered me about it that made me have interest into it. So the best way to learn those things is on-job training, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I compiled a resume. We all have made resumes to show that, things that we are able to do that we possibly don't actually have those skill sets.
Added a little sauce.
But just a little tap, a little finesse and sauce to it to land the interview process. Once I could land the interview process, I was able to, to talk the language as if I already was a seasoned project manager in this type of industry. And the construction company gave me the opportunity to work with them, right? Mm-hmm. So the caveat was that the owner came up to me and said, yeah, by the way, we do 100% of our business with the government, so you're going to need to learn the FAR, which is the Federal Acquisition Regulations. Those are all the laws, clauses, mandated with government contracts. 2,038 pages. My crazy behind read every last page and dissected, right? So working with the company, I had to teach myself how to read blueprints, how to use Bluebeam, which is a software, how to do estimation, how to do project management, right? How to do a proper cost analysis and put proposals together. I had to learn this on my own as I am still performing. Mm-hmm. Let alone I got to understand government contracting now because we only do business with the government. All right, long story short, within 10 months we working with that company, right? I generated $1.6 million in government contracts for them. Federal, state, local, city, county government contracts, right?
That's hard.
So the owner said, come here. You're a mad man. So he delegated me to build out a business development center, right? BDC department, where I train others on my methods, my unorthodox methods of doing business with the government. So I did that for like another 4 months, and then I said, you know what? I felt like LeBron. I said, let me take my talent somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I created a business outside of it of securing government contracts with other small businesses and then getting paid a percentage of the contract value. Mm-hmm. That's how my firm created, based off of word of mouth, based off of results. And that landed me to the opportunity saying, you know what? All right, I must know what I'm doing. I'm winning government contracts for other businesses now. I know this stuff ins and out, fitting all different types of industries into, making the government your customer as well. How I'm going to tap into it though, like no flex. This is not to brag, but I made $100,000 just off of winning government contracts for other people and getting a percentage of the contract value. Way before I even won a government contract for myself. I landed my first government contract in 2016. For janitorial supplies. It was a 1-year base, 3-year option, 4-year contract total for Clayton County Public School Systems to provide paper towels, tissue, and rat traps. Right? Wow. rat traps. Yeah, I guess the school system had a real, rodent issue.
every public school ever been had rats.
Hell yeah.
So I had to identify how did I want to get into this lane for myself, right? So service-based type of contracts have all these requirements and stipulations and things of that nature. For products, goods, or commodities, it's purely, normally they make the award off of just price. Mm-hmm. That's the government makes the award just off price. So what I did was, I said I'm going to fall into the lane of janitorial supplies, industrial supplies, knowing what I can provide. That's what I'm going to go for, right? My first bid that I ever put in for myself, that was the first one I landed. That was the first contract I ever landed. It was Clayton County Public School System.
It wasn't your first time putting in a bid. It was just your first time putting in a bid for yourself. For
myself. When I said that I want to win government contracts for my company. Mm-hmm. And I had to identify what lane I wanted to go to because the government is the world's largest purchaser. Mm-hmm. They purchase everything you can think of, right? Plus more. That's legal. They purchase everything, right?
They technically purchase some things that's illegal too, don't they?
So I had to identify what is my niche. I got to identify my niche in order to get rich. I got to identify my calling so I can stop balling. Like that was my thing. Is finding my lane. And my lane was tissue and paper towel and rat traps, and that's how I scaled it up from there. Now you look up today. Now we offer janitorial supplies. We offer furniture. We offer electronics. We are major reseller of all these major brands that we're able to resell back different products to the government. And that's been our lane, and that's what we just specialize in and focus on right there. Now, outside of that, we created to where that we educate and we empower other small businesses to tap in, to bridge the gap between small businesses and government agencies. So let's just talk about government. Let's talk about government money, period. All right. Under the Federal Acquisition Regulations, These are all the laws and clauses that's mandated with government contracting, right? The FAR, F-A-R. When you understand the FAR, you will go far in government contracting. It states that 23%, minimum 23% of government funds, federal government funds, must be allocated towards small businesses. That's mandated. That's a law. 23%.
$7 trillion.
Government spends about $7 trillion plus a year. 23% of that is allocated towards small businesses, purchasing services, products, goods from small businesses. So, what is small business? That should be your next question. Small business under the FAR, right, under the Federal Acquisition Regulation, is in most net codes, in industries, is having less than 49 employees and generating under $25 million a year. That's considered small business. That don't sound like small business to me, but
It don't.
if that's what the government say, I'm with it, right? So now you understand that concept right there. What is how do I enter it? That's the next person's question. How do I enter in? How do I set my business up to take advantage of these opportunities that's set aside for small businesses, right? So there's a site called SAM.gov, SAM.gov. It stands for System Awards Management. That's what SAM stands for, SAM.gov.
They throwing Uncle Sam any type of way they want to. God damn, man.
Yes, sir. So SAM.gov, right? You register, you create your username and passcode on this site. Then you're able to actually start the entity registration process, right, of submitting in all your information. So the key things you need in order to become a federal contractor or to be registered in SAM system is you need to have an articles of organization, whether you're an S Corp, C Corp, right, LLC, partnership, or joint venture. Then you need to have your employer identification number, aka EIN number, right? Then you need your Dun and Bradstreet number as well. Also, you're going to need a business bank account number, routing number, because you're going to input this information in. The federal government pays through wire now. They don't pay through checks. They used to pay through cash.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. At participating McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
Right? They used to pay cash and fists.
Sheesh.
Right? Years before I got in. Until cash would start getting missing. Right? They start paying checks until checks was being fraudulently duplicated. Now they pay through a wire straight to your bank account information that's submitted into the SAM registration. So be mindful when you're submitting in your information to SAM registration, make sure it's the right bank account information, because they're not paying you based off of the invoice that you submitted and say, hey, make payment here or cut the check here. They're going back to that SAM database system to make you your payment.
And need to be a business bank account too, like you said. Don't make sure you don't. If you got multiple bank accounts at one bank, don't write the wrong route number down, like you said.
Right.
Shit.
That's how you get in. Once you submit everything in, it normally takes about 10 business days, right, to get that email. Congratulations, you're now a government contractor. Then you get issued out a cage code. Your cage code only gets sent out by the government. Specifically, agency is DLA, Defense Logistics Agency. They're the ones that issue out your cage code. Your cage code is not a license to do business with the government. It's not a certification. It's purely a location of who you are, what you're about. So when the government asks you for your cage code or they pull up your cage code, I got everything about you. I got everything about the Black Wealth Renaissance business, what they can do, what they can't do, their special net codes, their core competencies, even their certifications. That's all what a cage code entails to the government.
It's like your file.
It's like your file. Absolutely. Now that you're in the SAM's award system, now you are a federal contractor, now you can compete for government contract opportunities. So the site that you see different opportunities of the government purchasing is called beta.sam.gov. That's the official government site for federal government contract opportunities. It's beta.sam.gov. Beta.sam.gov.
I'll write that down.
Yes, please do. Please do. So
it is. I'm confused. There's a beta. You said SAM. They have SAM.gov and beta.sam.gov. Beta is the actual job board.
that's the opportunity board or the bid board where all federal government contract opportunities get posted on that site.
Okay.
Right.
And SAM.gov is where you go to register.
SAM.gov is where you go to register. Correct.
Gotcha.
God damn. And I kind of even want to like backtrack.
My brother been kicking game.
Yeah, you came through with it like straight off the rip.
Oh, we just getting warmed up. Just getting warmed up.
I kind of want to get back to like how you even found your niche, like within the janitorial supplies and everything. What prompted you, or what made you say, I'm gonna go after this contract for myself, and I kind of like this. You know what?
Right.
I think I can run it up in this.
That's a smart question. So what made me identify my lane or my niche was I sit back, right, and I was thinking, how do I want to enter in? But I understood that every government agency has a building. Mm-hmm. And I understood that every building has to be clean. Mm-hmm. Every building has to have maintenance, right? Every building has office supplies, computer supplies, furniture, and janitorial supplies. Every government agency has a building. So I said, this is a no-brainer to tap into supplies, to janitorial supply side. So then we cross over to service once we built up our capacity. But we focus on just purely being a reseller of janitorial supplies and products to the government. That's it. Very simple, straightforward process.
Something you ain't had to think too hard on, like you said, versus that service base where they start checking the bids on all these other different
it's more than just pricing based off of those evaluations. Sometimes it's technical approach or past performance or ongoing performance and things of that nature, or based off of your proposal, how you submit it in. But when you're selling back goods, products to the government, 9 out of 10 times it's purely going off of just price, right? But then we're going to get down to that because I won government contracts not because I was the lowest price, because I was the only price, right? So when we get into that part, it really understands that. Just to break down some statistics to you, 76% of government contract opportunities have 5 or less companies competing. 76% of government contract opportunities have 5 or less companies competing, right? 37% of government contract awards go to companies that only have one response. 37%, that's almost 40%. So you say almost 4 out of 10 companies get awarded by being the only response. Like I said, I won government contracts not because I was the lowest price, it's because I was the only one. That's why I'm on this platform, to spread the awareness of government contract, because it's important for our communities and other small businesses around this world to understand how simple and easy it is to make the government your customer. I say it's not hard to win the government contract, that's the easy part. The challenge comes from executing the contract in the terms and the conditions that you agreed upon. That's the challenge. Can you provide that service in 30 days? Can you send out that product within 10 days that they asked for? That is the challenge. So if you have your supply chain logistics down packed, this is a walk through the park. This is a walk through the park.
So, Hamza, whenever you're talking about these contracts, it's 76%. Are we speaking on just federal contracts? Because I know you kind of gave the blueprint for the federal contracts already. Or are these also considered the other ones that you were
When I speak on government contracts, I'm speaking as a collective. I don't segregate federal, state, local, or city. It's all government money.
Gotcha.
So when I say government contracts and I give out these statistics, it's based off my team doing data analytic research to identify where this money being allocated to, how much money is being allocated to, and what are the demographics. So when I say these statistics, I'm speaking on government contracts as a whole.
Got you.
Yes, sir.
On the No, I was just saying that's on the local, the state, the
city,
county,
federal.
And I'm glad that y'all just hopped into that, because I wanted to talk about the different levels of government contracting, because like you said, man, it all funnels down. You got the local businesses, you got your counties, your state, and your federal. And I remember when we was talking, you were like, the local businesses would much rather keep the money in the community versus
not must. They got to. So think about this on the federal level, right? The goal for the United States of America is to stimulate small businesses through this federal acquisition regulation, right? It's to stimulate small businesses across this United States, right? We have to spend money with small businesses to stimulate our economy. That's why I say a stimulus check was going way before a pandemic. There's been a stimulus check going out way before Corona-19, way before a pandemic, way before a state of emergency. It's been a stimulus going out, stimulating small businesses, because small businesses run this world, right?
That's a fact.
Right? So that's on the federal level. Now you go to state, their initiative is to deploy out the opportunities or spend money with the small businesses that's in that state first, right? It's to stimulate that economy. economy. Now let's go into city. Their initiative and goal is to stimulate small businesses that reside in that city. Why would we get money from the government and then spend it with some out-of-town companies? We're going to stimulate our own city, our own county with the small businesses that reside. But how can they do business with you if they don't know you exist? So it comes up to another fun fact and data. 93% of government contract opportunities go to companies that are proactively marketing their business to them. 93% of government contract opportunities go to companies that are proactively marketing their business. How can they do business with you if they don't know you exist? Yeah. And it's so easy because every city, every county, every state has a purchasing department to where you register as a vendor, which is free 99. Now you have access to all the opportunities that they put out as public notice. So you can submit in a bid or a quote for whatever services or products that you can offer.
So wait one second. So you telling me I can go
Get out of here, boy.
I can go to my local city website, sign on as a vendor in a few minutes, and I can be notified of these opportunities that you're talking about.
Yep.
But first, I gotta have all of the other things that you said set up.
You need to have your basic business, foundation set up. You don't want to open up the opportunity door if you ain't able to, close it. You don't want to set up the opportunity of where they come knocking at your door and you're not able to answer it. So of course you want to have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, have an actual lane in the industry, right? Because in the private sector, it's different between the public sector. It's public sector government money and government contracts is public sector money, right? In the private sector, when you're in business and you're marketing, you may run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, a billboard, commercial, banner, whatever.
Yeah.
In this public sector, we don't need all that. We're not looking for businesses based off of commercial or Instagram ad or anything
You're not advertising to consumers.
Exactly. This is how you market to the government. 2 words for you: capability statement.
Y'all write that down too.
Capability statement.
What
is a capability statement? This is exactly what I just said. It's a statement of your capability. You're stating what you're capable of doing. That's what your capability statement is. Showing your core competencies, showing your value, showing your strengths, showing your strategic partnerships, showing your certifications, your net codes, your past performance, if you have any, or ongoing performance. Your capability statement is not a past performance statement. Let me be clear. Past performance is a detail or part of a capability statement, whether you have it or not. But you can just state what you're capable of doing, whether you never have done it before, ever. You can still state what you're capable of doing. I could just got into the lawn care business today. I just bought the lawnmower, the weed whacker, all the tools and supplies and stuff like that, but never cut no grass in my life before. But if you ask me what do you do, I said, well, we got a lawn care service, and this is what we're capable of doing because we got all the equipment and resources and tools to actually do it. So it's the same.
Capable of getting it done.
Even if I hadn't done it before, I got the capability.
This is what I'm capable of doing, and you're expressing that all on one page document. It's an 8.5 by 11 document, all on one page, not front and back. It's one page. Not 2 pages, not 3 pages, not 4 pages, all on one page. It's bullet points. Micro content, what I like to call it. Expressing your company in a very strategic, persuasive way to show that you're competent. That's the key word you're going to hear of government agencies and government contracting all the time. Is competency, being competent, or what's your core competencies. The more you are competent, the more you're going to get compensated. That makes sense?
Competency leads to compensation.
Yes, sir.
The bars. Man, so Hamza, can we get an example of like what the core competencies would be? So like, let's say whenever you went into the contract for yourself and you decided Global Connect's going to be a janitorial service company, like what does that capability statement look like for a product-based business? Like, well, like a, you know what I mean, like a product.
In your janitorial.
Like, you're not janitorial. First, we're going to show all our strategic relationships or authorized reseller accounts that we have with different big brands that are janitorial supplies. Also, we're going to show that we have the labor, the tools, the equipment, or we have the strategic partnerships of subcontractors that we can have perform the work on our behalf because we are the Global Connects.
Yeah.
We specialize in administrative management and project management, right? We keep our net codes broad in that area that allows us to dance in any type of field because administrative management and business management is in every industry, right? Then we follow up with our net codes, NAICS, North American Identification Classification System. It pretty much identifies what industry that you are in, right? we identify our net codes, right, to show this is what we are experts in. That's normally going to be our other three, which our secondary net codes are. Our primary is going to show project management, administrative management. Then our secondary shows these are our core competencies in janitorial supplies, services, and furniture, electronics. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's what we're compiling on our capability statement.
I got you.
Right? 93% of government contract awards go to companies that are actively marketing their business. And this is how you market your business. It's through email. It's cost effective, very cheap.
Yeah.
All right? Not spending no big budget on ads and stuff like that.
Gmail account, super cheap.
No Gmail. Hold on.
Workspace. My bad, you got to get Google Workspace.
You got to
if you want to
use,
look legit.
yes, or you get a domain for your business, because sometimes if you use Gmail, Yahoo, it goes to their junk mail. Mm-hmm. All government contracting officers' information are public information that you can aggregate and find and go straight to that government website and pull their information from, and then email them out your capability statement, what I call engagement emails. The reason why I call it engagement email, because you want them to engage with you so they know you exist. We are here to serve you in the subject box, right? Our company, such and such, LLC, focuses on these janitorial services or whatever industry that you're in. All right, please see our capability statement attached, right? And we look forward to doing business with you, as we are just here to serve government agencies. You talk that language like that, you spit that type of talk like that, you talking government contracting talk. They like that. They hear that. You're showing you're competent.
I was about to say you sound competent.
Yes.
And you sound like the thing that you stressed in there was that we're here to serve government agencies.
Yes.
It's not like we out here, we working with everybody. No, we here for y'all.
Only. Federal, state, local, city, county. We don't discriminate. Let's go. Now, the key thing is understanding this. Most people think government contracting is this. I see an opportunity. I want to go for it. I submit in the bid. Let me throw up a prayer sign and hope I win. When people hear where I'm winning a government contract, this is not a scratch off. This is not a lottery. You're doing business and you're making the largest purchaser in the world your customer, right? 98% of what the government purchases, it don't even go out as public notice. 98% of what the government purchases doesn't even go out as a public solicitation. That should let you know that it's more than doing business than submitting a bid or a quote and hoping and praying that you win. So what are the other ways of them spending the money? How are they spending the money if it's not going out as a bid? Oh man, let's get into it. Let's get into it now.
You were showing us a tad bit earlier. I was about to ask you about that. So 98%. So okay, let's talk about the 2% that are shown. That's going to be on the beta.sam board, right? Correct.
And local, city, county, state. What you see, what they post for is bid opportunities. That's less than 2%.
So before we get into the other thing, you just said so. The beta.sam, that's for federal.
That's for federal.
Okay, and then everything else will be listed on like a
their state site, city site, county site. But it's all less than 2% what you're seeing.
Okay.
What you see, and we in Dallas, what you see in the city of Dallas procurement site, what they purchasing, that's less than 2% of what they spending.
That's crazy.
So how are they spending the rest of the money?
What happened to the
It
other
gotta go to the small business.
All right, exactly. It's what you call contracting vehicles. All right, that's the language you will hear. Not metaphorically, got a contract car or whip. Yeah. It is a method of you using to drive yourself to a government contract opportunity. So you have what you call social economic groups, such as women-owned business, right? Minority-owned business, disadvantaged business, enterprise, disabled veteran-owned business, right? Hub zone companies as well, AA program and stuff like that. These are other contracted vehicles you can use to create more opportunities for the government to do business with you. So if it's set aside for women-owned businesses, only a company
only
that's
women
owned,
getting that.
51%, right?
You got to be 51% owner. The woman has to be 51% owner of the company to be labeled as a women-owned business. So it's only for women-owned businesses if it's set aside, right, for women businesses to only compete on. But also understand that under certain thresholds, they have to submit out for a bid, or under certain thresholds, they don't have to put things out for bid.
So what's
Right.
that?
I know you were showing us something earlier. That was state specific?
That was in Georgia,
Yeah.
Henry County to be specific. But let's go to federal first.
Okay.
All right, this is under the FAR, Part 15, 603. All right, Section 603, Part 15.
Time out, man.
Right?
This guy know the
That
damn
man,
labels.
you went read the
sections.
2,038 pages.
Come on, man. Stop playing, man.
So, under the FAR, right, Federal Acquisition Regulation, you have this clause that's called the Simplified Acquisition Procedure.
Mm-hmm.
The Simplified Acquisition Procedure, a.k.a. the simple buying process, right, for a government contracting officer or agency. All right. This clause allows a government contracting officer agency to give you a no bid. Let me say that again. This allows a government contracting officer agency to give you a no bid contract up to $750,000 domestically, $1.5 million internationally if your company is competent, has the capacity to perform the service or product. It allows, if I'm a government contracting officer, it allows me the opportunity to just do business directly with you if you're competent, have the capacity, right, to provide this service or product that I'm looking for. It eliminates me from doing the paperwork process. That's why it's called the simplified acquisition or the simplified buying process. It simplifies me from not being stressed out with all this paperwork because as a contracting officer, I'm over more than just one contract.
Yeah.
My title as a government contractor officer states that I have the authorization upon the United States of America to execute, modify, or terminate a contract on the behalf of the United States of America. That's how powerful a CEO position is. So to eliminate or make it more administrative, less stressful, I can actually tap into this simplified acquisition procedure that allows me as a contractor officer.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And under $1.5 million internationally. That's on a federal level. State level is $150,000, right? But that still varies. City, county is $25,000, but that varies, and we just showed you within Perry County.
It was what, like right under 5?
Under $50K.
It was like
$49,999.99.
No
right?
bid.
No bid. So this means that's under these thresholds, they can just do business with you. You're not bidding no more. They do a business, but they can't do business with you if
they don't know who you are.
Exactly.
You're not marketing to them. And that's where them emails come into play.
That's where the
I'm
engagement.
here to do business with you.
Yes.
I'm here to serve you.
Yes. There you go. Talk nice. Talk nice.
So now you ain't gotta go throw it out there. I'm here. I'm at your door.
Right.
Hello.
So Hamza, let me ask you this. With this, right? So with these no bid contracts, how important would you say is building relationships with these decision makers?
100% everything. 100% everything in government contract.
And these people are people you can find on public platforms, right?
Yes. So if you look at it, if you're going out for a particular bid and you're submitting a quote or proposal, 10 out of 10 times, is a contractor officer, purchasing agent, or buyer that's associated with that. All right. 9 out of 10 times, that purchaser or contracting officer is over other government contract opportunities or over a budget. So you grab that information and put it into your contact list because you could be marketing your business to it. So when I look for opportunities, it's not just submitting in the bid, it's aggregating that information because it's not going to be wasting my time whether we go for it or not. I still received something. I still got something valuable from it, which was a contact to someone that makes a decision whether or not they want to do business with me or not. Right? So even if we don't win a proposal or a government contract, it's still marketing to me because they saw my proposal, they see my capability statement, they see my brand, they see my logo, they know we're coming after the work, whether we win, lose, or draw. It's still a win for us. That's how my mentality look at when we submit in bids or quotes, is that we're marketing, period. Government know who Globe Connects is. That's what it's all about. 93% of government contracts go to companies that are marketing, actively marketing. They can't do business with you if they don't know you exist. And you got to stay on their behind. You just don't send out an email one week and then not follow up the next week.
And be like, oh man, they never hit me back.
Right. These people are working what you call a 9-to-5 job. Some take their job serious, some don't. So you got to know how to manage up, as I would say. So what I created, one of my systems, is that we send out our engagement emails at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So we could be the first people in their inbox when they check in at work at 9 a.m. So by 9:30, we got email back and we overcome any type of objections, right? Because most of the time, they're going to check their first 5 or 10 emails. By lunchtime, they come back from lunch, they mentally clocked out of work. I'm gone. I'm not responding back to nobody.
I got 4 hours left in the day.
My body breaking down all this food. I'm tired. I got the itis type
right. So we power performances between 8:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. That's where we that's where we make it happen at in them time frames.
That's a gem.
Nah, that's a big gem. And I'm glad that you brought that up. So, because you said some of the objections, what are some of the objections you face through government contracting? Like, what's some of the stuff that you might have to hurdle over to secure that?
It's not more like hurdles. It's more about aligning your business with the qualifications that they want to be met.
I got you.
So, if it's set aside for small business, make sure you're small business. If it's set aside for minority-owned business, make sure you're a minority-owned business. One thing about doing business with the government, I'm glad you asked this question, right? Man, they tell you exactly what they don't want, when they want it, how they want it. Like, who would not want to do business with a customer and tell you exactly what I want? No, right? Here's the manufacturer number, here's the part number, here's the picture. Hold on, even better, here's the website where you can go get it from.
Damn.
So it made me think. It made me think, right? I said, well, damn, the government buys Samsung products. They buy OtterBox. All right, OtterBox is a cell phone case for iPhones and iPads. They buy different type of HP products. They buy different type of branded furniture and things of that nature.
They buy Macs.
Right. They buy computers, Macs. I'm like, why they just won't buy it directly from them? Why are they going through small business? Then I realized it hit me. They not small business, Hamza. They have they have more than 49 employees. Mm-hmm. They generate more than $25 million a year.
Yeah.
So they have to use us as the liaisons to get the certain type of services or products that they want that fall under a certain threshold. Mm-hmm. So the light bulb went up. I said, oh, we become an authorized reseller for Samsung. We become authorized reseller for OtterBox. We become authorized reseller for HP. Mm-hmm. We become authorized reseller for all these other furniture major brands. Now, not only are we small business, minority-owned business, we also authorized to resell back these products that y'all buy all the time. Now come shop with your boy.
I'm glad you mentioned that too about the strategic partnerships that you kind of talked about earlier. How does one go about becoming an authorized reseller or a strategic partner of some of these companies?
Right, that's a great question because it's about following the qualification requirements of that brand or of that manufacturer or distributor. Whatever partner portal or wholesale account or reseller account qualification requires you have to meet, such as having the articles of organization, your EIN DUNS number, right? Also having a business license. Sometimes they want an STI, sales tax identification number, or resale license, depending on what city or county or state you're in. Check with your State Department Revenue website, and they will tell you the requirements for it being a reseller or authorized reseller of certain brands or products and stuff like that. But normally it's really a straightforward type of qualification requirements, and if you can meet them, then you get approved. It's not hard to be a reseller for major products. You know what I mean?
They want resellers.
Of course.
Because they're trying to get it out. And I'm glad you brought this up because I remember we were talking. I want to talk about the MacBooks. That's why I brought up the MacBooks. Mm-hmm. I remember you told me you had, it was like 8 of them that you had.
15 we sold to the city of Atlanta.
Yep. Can you go through how you did that? Because we know that you can become a reseller.
Right.
Certain Apple is a bit more.
Yeah, Apple, because Apple don't have no reseller. There's no reseller. Most Apple, you gotta, it's their own store. Right. So I seen the opportunity go out for MacBook Pro laptops, and I'm like, they want Mac, but it's not. You just go buy it from Mac. No, they want to buy it for small business. So I'm like, well, no small business really have authorized reseller accounts for Apple products. So I did the most common sense way. right? I went to Best Buy, right? I seen the MacBook Pros going for $14.99, right? I marked it up, $350, right, for each MacBook. I put $350 on top, so I'm selling them at $1,500 round up, $1,850. Submitted in my bid, right? It was me and one other competitor, and I beat them by $21. So clearly, they must do the same thing I did. Right?
That's awesome.
Excuse me. Got awarded a government contract. Went to Best Buy, purchased the MacBooks. Shout out to my brother Hamza Sabree because he's an engineer for Apple, so I got an extra 15% corporate discount.
Come on, man.
Shout out
so
that went to my bottom line, right? I got the laptops and I supplied them to them. The following week, I got a check. Not net 30. It was more like net 10. I got paid. So let's go into payment terms. This is how I got paid so fast. Most of the government pays through net 30 type of payment. Under the FAR, the Federal Acquisition Regulation, you have a clause in there that reference towards the Prompt Pay Act, right? Prompt Pay Act is like discount payment terms. You can discount your invoice by 1%. You can get paid in 30 days, or you can get paid in 10. That's my little riddle.
Yeah.
But that's true. You can discount your invoice by 1% to get paid in 10 days instead of 30 days through the Prompt Pay Act.
And that's pretty dope. That reminds me of like whatever you got, PayPal, Cash App, all them. Like, if you want to speed this process up, give us a little percentage. And shit, 1%, that's actually a smaller percentage than I think they be asking for.
Right, but guess what? We factor that 1% discount in our actual bid. So we get awarded it. We're really not, it's already accounted for, pretty much. So it's not really discounting anything. It's a discount.
You're just playing with the terminology and making sure that you stand in the
staying in the parameters. Yes.
And there was so I wanted to also just ask, like, with products, you at least gotta have the money to supply the products, correct? Or are you setting up net 30s with those companies?
There you go. Talk to me nice. Now, I won my first government contract in 2016, right? Didn't have the funds to actually purchase the product or have the financing to finance the actual contract. What I did was took my government contract, because that's like guaranteed money.
That's like a...
It's guaranteed money. You got a government contract. You got a profitable government contract that's guaranteed money. The last thing you need to be worried about is how to get the financing for it. But I'm going to give you some gems on how to get financing too, right? So I took that contract and I went straight to my supplier and said, hey, I ain't got no money, but I got a government contract. Straight transparent, right? They did their research on me, right? They vetted me out. They set me up a net 30 account. So when the government was purchasing the supplies, I had 5 days to deliver to them. So once I got the purchase order, I just send it over to my supplier, and they send it straight to them. They deliver. Once they deliver, I send in my invoice. That's how we did it for the first year. I saved all my profit margins the first year that way. Then the second year, I went and purchased the product directly from my supplier vendor. My profit margins went up 11% because now I'm not getting fronted, right? You're going to get fronted at a higher rate. But now I'm purchasing this up in bulk up front. Now I get a discount on that. So my margins went up 11% from doing that.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so this is how you can leverage the white piece of paper and turn it into green piece of paper.
I like that.
You feel me?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So the government offered these different types of assistance. So under the SBA, Small Business Association, you have what you call Small Business Development Centers that's in every city, in every state across this map. These Small Business Development Centers will give you access, right? They will give you a list to the banks, funding companies, invoice factoring companies that will finance your project, whether it's a federal, state, or local government contract. So not only the government spending money with you as a small business, then they give you the resource so you can get the financing to finance the actual project that they try to pay you.
Come on, man.
They just really, like you said, it's a stimulus way before the stimulus.
It's a stimulus way before the stimulus. So it's like, my thing is that the fiscal year for the government is October to October. They have to spend this money in this time frame in order to get a new budget or a new increased budget for the next fiscal year. So my thing is, why not do business with someone that essentially has to do business with you? It's an alley-oop. Now, it depends on you how you want to dunk it. You want to rock the cradle? You want a 360 windmill between the leg for the free throw line? Jelly roll, however you want to slam dunk and finish your alley-oop. But that's what it is.
Yeah, don't try to get too fancy or go hang yourself on your rail.
Yes. One thing about it, don't go for no government contract that you can't execute. Because once you get awarded, it's time to go. The easy part is winning and securing the government contract. The challenge comes from executing the contract in the terms and conditions that you agreed upon. Can you supply that product in 30 days that they asked for? Can you do that service in 10 calendar days like they asked for? That's the challenge, is having those project managerial skill sets to make sure you execute your contract. Don't go after anything you can't execute. That's how you save yourself. Not 50% sure, I'm 70% sure. No. This is my lane. This is what I can execute. Let's go.
What my core competencies is.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you're speaking on execution, because I wanted to ask you something. A few weeks back, we were speaking with a CPA, Suzanne, and she had mentioned to us, then this was something that had busted our heads, was that like on the average $1 million contract, government contract, they'll only net like $50,000. Is that an execution issue?
That is...
or is that kind of like an industry standard type thing?
So it's not even an industry standard, because every contract is a case-by-case scenario. There's no, you only going to make 10% on government contract. You only going to make 20%. That's BS. I have contracts I made 50%, 150%, 200%, 80%. 15%.
Is it usually more like the products that they'll have higher margins like that?
No, that's a case-by-case scenario, and that's how you dissect what the government is asking for in the scope of work. So as you as the entrepreneur reading the solicitation, reading what the government is asking, and then you coming up with a strategic way to cut costs and provide value. You follow what I'm saying? So yeah, on a $1 million government contract that's related in construction, everybody knows, not everybody don't know, but if you don't know, construction industry is standard is 15-20% gross, right? You're going net 10 to 15% on contract. That's why I say it's a case-by-case scenario. So no one can technically tell you you're going to only make this on $1 million contract. All right, I have mentors, heavy hitters, that just secured a 5-year, $80 million contract to supply tissue and paper towels throughout all of the prison bureau systems in Florida.
That's crazy.
And that's 38% margins net on $80 million. You follow what I'm saying? So when people ask me about the what's the profit margin like, I say, well, I don't know your industry. I don't even worry about percentages. I worry about the dollar amount, then I convert it over to percentages, right? So if I got a $100,000 project and it costs me $80 to do it, that means that we're netting $20,000. Which is, converted over to percentages, is 20%. I never say 20% put it on top, because it's a case-by-case scenario. And anyone that try to say what profit margins are in government contracting is absolutely wrong. Straight up. It's always going to be a contract basis, based off of that contract, based off that scope of work. The government can say, hey, we want this building right here to be cleaned out, 1,000 square foot of this building cleaned out, all the bathrooms be cleaned out, and everything like that. Provide us a price. The next janitorial contract could be, it's 10,000 square foot, all right? And we don't want none of the bathrooms cleaned out. And we want you to provide all the supplies and things of that nature while you're doing the work. Another one say, we don't want you with all the supplies. Just be the labor. Just come clean. We're going to supply you with the degreaser and the supplies and the tissue and the paper towels that you may need. So you got to read the solicitation, because it's a case-by-case scenario. It's never government contract going to be the same.
Like that.
It's something that you may be compared to, but it's not the same.
Appreciate you clearing that up,
yes,
man. Because like I said, whenever I heard that, I was like, damn, that's crazy. Because, the government, I think about a lot of municipalities with the whole bidding system. They'll just go for whoever probably has the lowest bid, right? So I figured that maybe that could end up having some people shoot themselves in the foot that way. Maybe they underbid themselves.
The thing about it is, just because you're the lowest price don't mean you're right. Right? If the government, your customer, is projecting to spend $100,000 on this actual contract, right? And you submitted a bid for $90K, you submitted a bid for $80K, and I came in at $20K. You think they're gonna award it to me?
Probably not.
They're gonna be like, he's not competent, right? That's what he gonna say. Something he missed out in the scope of work.
Yeah.
He's lowballed so hard, we can't do business with him. He might give us a headache, because once we award a contract, it's time to rock and roll. The last thing the contract officer want to do is unaward a contract. That's a headache. The last thing you want to do is contract termination. That's more work. That's why they evaluation process is a certain way, so to make sure they picking a competent company. Because once we award you a contract, we believe that it's time for you to go. It's time to make the work happen. You follow what I'm saying? That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to move forward with even disaster relief and some of the things, like even with Corona, of how it was such a gold mine for a government contractor. Like you said, the PPE, and even like whenever hurricanes come through with the water, or even whenever Puerto Rico got hit hard with the hurricanes, they needed tissue and they needed paper towels and they needed water shipped there too. And I kind of want to talk about how you can make money through that in government contract.
Listen, perfect time. This happened a few months before COVID-19, right? I registered my business with the critical supply list in Georgia, right? Where you can register with the state, right, for the critical supply list, and we show and post the different supplies that we offer. This is like 3 months before COVID, right? COVID hit. The next thing you know, I'm waking up to purchase order emails from all different hospitals in the Metro Atlanta area and surrounding areas. We need 1,000 gowns. What's your price and how fast you can deliver? This was not a competitive bid. This was all purchase order, no big contracts. I was getting so overwhelmed, I was declining work because I don't want to take on what we can't execute. It's honesty, integrity, and smart work. That's my 3 principles that I rock on. That's how you stay in business. That's how you keep business. That's how you're never going to go out of business. Honesty, integrity, smart work. Have honor in your price. Have integrity that you're going to do exactly what you say you're going to do in that contract when no one's looking. And then you get it done with smart work. Right? We subcontract out the work or we outsource the work. Purely that. And it's perfectly legal and permissible to do with the government. You can subcontract out the work or you can outsource the work to other qualified vendors or companies that perform the work on your behalf. But that's where project management comes from and administrative management comes from because they're representing your company. So you want to make sure that they're performing correctly. You want to make sure you manage them properly because they are a reflection of you. The contracting office is not going to go to the sub or the vendor saying this ain't right, this ain't right. They coming to the prime.
Because you they point of contact.
And that's what I teach my students and my clients, how to be prime contractors. We're not coming in to get subbed out anything. We do the subbing, which is perfectly legal. And you could be a brand new company straight from scratch. I got so many students that just started companies out of the woodworks and securing winning government contracts on a whole nother level, changing whole life.
Damn.
That's hard. So with the subcontractors and the project management, can you explain how does that work with the project manager piece of it? Like what are some of the roles that will go into being a project manager for this type of thing?
Facilitating of course the subcontracting agreement, setting a tone for us, what's the expectancy, what we're looking for from your company through the scope of work and things of that nature, right? Also managing the schedule, right? Also with administrative side, making sure your pre-submittals are submitted in, if it's service-based with the government, your closeout submittals are done, making sure receipt of delivery has been delivered to the actual customer, right? And then invoicing. Like all of those factor into project management and administrative management. It needs to get done when you're subbing out or when you're outsourcing work. Okay. Good question.
So, you in this product-based business and you doing all of these things. Like you said, first year you went strict net 30s and everything. Surely you got to have a warehouse now. You got your team who's helping you out and everything. How do you manage all of that?
Oh, yeah. We have no warehouse. All right? No warehouse. I keep no supplies on hand or any of that. I work based off the government contract. Once we get a contract, it's time to go to work, right? And the reason I say it that way is because we already created a relationship with our vendors, suppliers, distributors, manufacturers to resell back this product, or we have a list of subcontractors that can perform this work on our behalf, right? So we don't need actual product on hand. It's just going to collect dust. Until it got a government contract, that's when it's going to get shipped out. So once we get the actual contract, we just send that over to our suppliers, vendors, distributors, or manufacturers, and then they perform the logistics on our behalf. So by the time they receive it, that's the same time I send the invoice. Yeah. So yes, you don't need the supplies, equipment, tools, labor to actually win a government contract. The government don't know who you are. They only know what you submit again. So if you're submitting in paperwork that shows that you're competent, you're submitting in paperwork that shows your strategic relationships, and you're submitting paperwork showing that you can execute this job, then they will do business with you. They're not saying, "Oh, hold on, Brandon, let me come see if you got a warehouse. Hold on, let me see your employees and your staff. Let me come see your office building." No, you're the expert. You're the business owner. you set the expectations. Prime example, I had Fulton County, when I got awarded a furniture contract, we were supplying executive furniture desks to all the county attorneys' offices, right? And I got awarded it was a little lightweight, it was like a little $12,000 contract, right? So we netted crazy, like 200%. How about I tell you, furniture profit margins are, all right? Now, they said, well, we want to come by your store and to pick out what type of office desk that we want. So a lot of people would have started sweating bullets, like, I ain't got a store there. I said, yeah, that would be no problem, but that's not how we operate, all right? We're going to send you over this digital catalog, and you can pick from what furniture that you want, and then we'll ship it directly to you, right? We don't keep any inventory. We don't keep any inventory on hand. I'm not lying. See, and I'm not going around it. I'm answering directly, being transparent, honesty, integrity, smart work. We don't keep any furniture on hand. However, here's our digital catalog that you can pick from, and then once you pick what you want, then we will go ahead and place the order, process the order with our supplier.
You had it delivered to them.
Exactly.
And I kind of want to get into, once again, with the supply chain and everything like that. Did you have any issues with COVID with getting some of the PPP, getting some of those things over from suppliers? Because we know that the supply chain went
down.
Yeah.
And that's when the government spent more money with domesticated products. Because it was a lot of what you call barriers for as the tariff rates went up and things of that nature. And at one point it came to where the government, especially for PPE, it was like, if it's coming from China, that's permissible. At one point in time, that's how a great demand it was for PPE supplies. They were saying that it's okay if it's coming from China. But that was when domesticated manufacturer companies were to make the bread on the butter. Or the butter on the bread. How did it go? They were here to get the money because now they're paying more just because it's here, it's on the ground, it's in the States. And it costs more to manufacture stuff here than it is in other countries.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
So profit margins went up during COVID. Long story short.
Appreciate it, man. I just didn't know.
All that money they printed, they had to spend it somewhere. They printed what, like 25% of the money in existence?
That's a prime example. Under the FAR, you have things like state of emergency or these pandemics to where that we eliminate putting stuff out for bid and waiting on qualified prices to come in because we in a state of emergency. Man, during the COVID, you didn't have to register a SAM to do business with the federal government.
Damn.
We don't got time for you to submit that into the database system.
We got 10 days to wait.
No, we need these PPE supplies. We need this hand sanitizer. We need these gowns. We need these things. By the way, they introduced me to create my own hand sanitizer.
Oh, there we go. We got to talk about that. Wait a second.
I was actually going to go there next. I ain't going to lie.
Actually, before that, I wanted to talk about your students some because you did mention it, and I think that's something I don't want to graze over. You said you got people coming in, they ain't never did this before, but they're getting awarded government contracts.
Right.
Can we talk about what it looks like to be a student of your program?
All right, so 2020, January 1st, 2020, we came to social media. Now, on my first post, you could go back to it, actually probably say December 30th, 2019. Like my first post was January 1st, right? Before COVID, before any of that. And my goal was to spread, and it's still the same goal, is to spread awareness of government contract. I wanted to make content about my life. Like, people don't know what I actually do. Like, I don't look like the regular person that posts to know government contracting. It's hidden information. It was like, if you know, you know type of thing. So my goal was to break the misunderstanding and myths of government contract. My goal was to take 6 new businesses, 6 fresh new, scratch new businesses, not business entering into government contracting for the first time, but straight from scratch new business, fresh new LLC.
Just made our LLC.
There we go. Talk to me. My goal was to take 6 new businesses to 6 figures in contract value by the end of 2020. So within 1 year. We exceeded that goal. We took 8 new businesses, right? And 2 of the 8 businesses generated 7 figures in contract value.
Come on, man. That's
right?
hard.
And we did it less than a year. We did it in 10 months.
Hey, man, something about you in 10 months and 7 figures just go together, man.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
Let's go. So it's based off how we teach, by how we understand and show you the system and the process and our strategies and our hacks and our tips and our tricks within doing business with the government. Mm-hmm. Right? I got a little bit over 7 years of experience. I got in this industry at 24 years old. I got in to where I was already winning contracts for companies. So I understood the paperwork process. I understood the proposal process. I understood how to, it's a blessing, right? To be that young, to learn something that's not spoken on, has no mainstream media attention at all whatsoever, right? So we fast forward now, I'm 33, right? Now I have this full knowledge base and experience and proven track record, right? To where then I'm pouring in what I've got all in my brain from 7 years ago into other people, so they're 7 years ahead of me. Mm-hmm. So their results happen rapidly and quickly way before I did. Did that make sense?
Yeah. You're taking out all of the guesswork, all of the mistakes
yes.
that were done.
Yes, let's talk about mistakes, because I done lost money on government contracts. I done lost my shirt, my bat. I done lost the shoes to my feet.
Let's talk about it.
I done lost my mind. And when I got that back. You feel me? But guess what? Lose on myself. You feel me? You can get defeated, but that don't mean you lost though. You know, it's a learning lesson. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I know what not to do. Okay, I know what to do next. And that's what I prevent any of my students and my clients from getting into, because I don't walk down them roads where I'm walking into a government contract knowing I'm going to lose 15 grand on. So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to reduce my loss, because I didn't read the solicitation all the way thoroughly to where that I terribly underbidded myself. Mm-hmm. You got to have mental fortitude to walk into something knowing that you're going to lose money, and you still got to do it because you want to keep your
that reputation. You
want to keep your reputation right. You want to keep your brand correct. You want it's honesty, integrity, smart work. So you take it to the chin. You take it to the chin. You know. So I know those feelings. Mm-hmm. Long nights, early mornings, losing money, breaking even on money, and breaking even on contracts and things of that nature. So I'm not speaking just the wins, successes, all that. Let's talk about the trials and tribulations. All right? If I'm around successful people, right? If I'm around people that's killing it in my eyes, my first thing is, where you fuck up at? Where did you fail at?
You had to
go through something to get to this point. Yeah. I want to know about that part, because that's the gems. That's what I'll pay you for. I want to hear about the glitz and glamour and the trophies and the wins and the championships. Let me hear about them long nights, stomach touching your ribs, you feel what I'm saying, back against the wall, you have no choice but to go up. I want to hear that, because that's what's going to make me get the gems, get valuable information, and know what not to do, because I don't want to go down that road. So I save people from that by giving that experience, along with my strategies I created based off of me consistently being in this industry. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Can you share one of your biggest fuck-ups on the contract?
Okay, of course. Hell yeah, I'm glad you asked. So listen. I've got this trash bag bid. I don't know, like 1,000, 1,500 trash bags that the government want, right? Me not reading the solicitation all the way through, right, cost me the bag, right? From my supplier, my vendor, they thinking that I'm purchasing all these trash bags at one time, so they gave me a price point on that, which is going to be pretty cheap, pretty competitive.
Because it's bulk.
Because it's bulk. In the solicitation, in the contract, right up under the scope of work, and them expressing the type of trash bags they wanted, it said right up under there in one sentence that this will not be a one-time buy. We'll be purchasing over the course of 12 months.
Oh,
sheesh.
So my supplier vendor gave me prices based upon one-time buy, not 12 months. Because if it was 12 months, it would be way higher. And I locked in my pricing with them based off of bulk pricing all up front. So it made me lose a lot of money, especially with the shipping, especially within the actual product price point, because I'm getting my prices locked in at
a 1 month rate whenever I need it.
Or one purchase rate.
Yeah, one purchase rate.
Instead
of 15 to 1,000 to 15.
Right. Instead of over 12 months they purchasing this. And that comes from not reading and rushing. So that's why I always tell all my students and my clients, make sure you read everything thoroughly, because the government is going to be very clear. You missing one sentence can cost you 15 grand. You missing one paragraph or not comprehending one paragraph can cost you 100 grand. Be mindful and understand and take your time when you read those solicitations. So I always advise your first 10, 15 solicitations, read them all, every last page. I don't care if it's 100 plus pages. Read every last page. After your 15th time, you're going to start seeing what's redundant. Man, they said the same clause that they said in the last solicitation. Now you're going to know what to skip. Now you know how to take a shortcut without it biting in your behind because you know what you're looking for now because you read this stuff over and over and over. That's how I read it over and over and over all the way through. If it's 200 pages, I'm reading all 200 pages. Now I know what's repetitive all the time, so we skip that now. Now I could thumb through a 200-page solicitation 2 minutes.
You know what you're looking for.
Exactly. Ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean? So if you're serious about this, you have to read. If you're serious about doing business with the government, it's going to take a high level of administrative management. Because you can go after as many government contracts you want. You can submit in 50 bids. Can you execute 50 bids if you win them? That's the question. Because there's no limitation on how much you can submit in proposals or quotes for opportunities. But what if you get awarded all of them? And you got to have organization skills because you got to keep up tasks with those opportunities because you don't find out when you get awarded right after you submit in your bid. It can take up to 30 days. It can take up to 60 days. So you got to have organization skills, admin skills to keep files and records of what you submitted in. Because you ain't going to remember off of your back if you submit multiple opportunities. You got to have a system into play. It takes system and process. And we had to create from scratch because government, you just don't say, oh, I got a government contracted business and help me out with some systems and process. It's like, no, you have to go through the trials and errors to where, okay, all right, let's tweak this. Okay, let's tweak this here. Okay, let's add this here. Okay, now we got it running like a well-oiled machine. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So process and systems is key into business, period, but especially into doing business with the government. Because you want to keep track record of all those all that information, whether you win, lose, or draw. If you don't win, it's still database, so you can see, you know, why you lost, or see opportunity that may be comparable to another one that you may be going for. Because it's all data. And data is currency. Data.
That's a fact.
He who has the most information wins the negotiation. Don't you agree?
Nah, that's a fact.
More information, more compensation. Right? So just because you don't win that actual bid, that don't mean that you delete it. You store that information because it may be something else that comes out comparison to that you can reference to.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That way you ain't got to go thumbing through 200 pages again.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly how to go
So,
market in.
Hamza, man, I gotta ask for all people that's listening. I know somebody that hearing this, they interested. Like, man, I need a link with this brother, man. How does somebody become one of your students to learn about government contracting?
Okay, so we offering services right now. I have a 1-hour consultation. It's a 1-hour consultation with myself. That's for people that have specific questions or things that they want to know within government contracting, right? Knowing me, I'm going to over-deliver, so it's probably going to go longer than an hour, right? I can't help it, right? I'm doing what I love to do. It's passion. When you work with passion, it's a different type of feeling. It's just like automatic. We have a 5-day boot camp, right? The 5-day boot camp covers everything of government contract on a federal, state, local level. When you leave outside of that 5-day boot camp, you're going to be well-equipped to go catch your own fish. You're going to be well-equipped to go create your own results, all right? Only take 20 students at a time for this class. You have to qualify. All right, you sign up for a 15-minute consultation on our website, all right, theglobalconnects.com, or go to our Instagram, globalleader_, click the link in the bio, set up your 15-minute consultation. One of our team members is going to go through the consultation. If you're a good fit, you're going to get elected. All right? Also in the 5-day boot camp, we create you your capability statement at the end of the 5-day boot camp, right? Also, we assist you on your first bid, right? We hold your hand, walk you through the process, because I'm being something that I didn't have in this industry. I'm being who I wish I had. That's why we create these services, right?
That's big.
Also, it's a live 5-day boot camp, live virtual 5-day boot camp, right? You get the replay to each class each day. You get the replay, and guess what? It's yours for life. Reason being, because we want you to go make results, go win. Because when you win, I win. When you grow, we grow. Follow what I'm saying? So that's our 5-day boot camp. I'm rolling out the mentorship program. Is going to come out in 60 days. You're going to have to qualify for that, and it's a limited availability for the mentorships, right? But guess what? I do a We Global Wednesday, every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live, and I just teach government contracting, right? Once a month, the last Sunday of every month, I do a free live webinar for people that can't afford our services, all right, or may not get elected for us to perform our services, right? So you have a free live Q&A. So it's like we have these paying services, but also we're about empowering our communities and other small businesses. So here we can get free content, free information.
Yeah.
We Global Wednesday, and we do a live free call webinar the last Sunday of every month, faithfully, religiously.
And We Global Wednesdays. This is on Instagram?
This is on Instagram, yes. Follow us on Global Leader _, right? And we go live every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we just go over some government contracting gems. That's it.
And I kind of want to go into one of your student stories, because whenever you told me this story, I was just like, damn, this is really life-changing. The airport in Texas.
Pearl Jones, one of the many success stories for us building her business within government contracting. Before I launched the company to social media as promotion and brand awareness of our firm, I did over 400 one-hour free consultations, right? All within like 90 days. I did 400 free 1 hour. So that's a lot of time on the phone. You know my energy, you know how I am. So imagine those 1 hours went over 1 hour, right? So we did over 400 1 hour free consultations, right? She was one of those 1 hour free consultations, right? Consulting over the phone and things of that nature. Backing against the wall, telling me the stories, and I'm like, well, here's the recipe. This is what you need to do. So I'm pouring in back, right? She started our company January 10th of 2020, all right? Come April, 90 days later, right? She wins her first contract, her first bid she ever submitted in, right? For janitorial cleaning for FEMA. It turned out to be a 6-month contract, 6-month probationary federal contract. So it's like, depending on how you perform, is if we're going to extend this contract or not, right? It wound up that she did a great job so far that the contractor officer extended the contract for 30 years. 30 years!
That's a generation.
So
that's 2 generations.
That's something that I have never seen before, but it makes sense because where this contract was happening for FEMA, it was in Beeville, Texas. We in Texas right now. So it was in Beeville, Texas, right? And I call it in the middle of nowhere, Texas. So there's no other surrounding companies that can perform this janitorial service on a consistent basis. So they put it out for solicitation. So whatever company they elected, depending on how they perform, we're just going to give it to them for the whole life of our lease. Now, let me explain lease. Government does not buy their buildings. Why? Why they don't buy their buildings? Because they got to spend the money.
Got to stimulate their...
They got to spend the money. So they do long-term leases on them. So if you're a real estate agent, real estate broker, tap in with me. There's a lot of opportunities with it, right? So the lease on that building is 30 years. So they gave the contract of the term of how long they have the building. So now she has a 30-year contract that she subbed out 100%. Right?
Wow.
To a company locally here in Texas, Beeville, Texas, that's doing the work. Right? She moved from Chicago, bought her dream home down in Florida. Right? Put her whole family on. Now run the family business.
That's hard.
That's one contract. Then use that, right? Because I teach my students, once you secure your government contract, let's put it on your capability statement now. Let's market it. Because now we're going to get no bid, sole source opportunities. We shouldn't be bidding no more. No. That's the most basic way of winning the government contract. We're doing business with the government.
Let's just get your foot in the door.
Get your foot in the door. Now we in. Let's
I'm in this.
Let's take over. Let's take over.
They gave me a 30-year contract. Why wouldn't you want to work with me?
So now we leverage that opportunity to where that she recently reached out to me. It was like, yeah, man, I got this sole source awarded contract for the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, Egypt for water restoration for $750,000. Based off of me being woman-owned and my past performance and ongoing performance that I have. She said, I'm out here in Egypt right now, man. This is no hot water, no cold showers. I said, I'll take cold showers for a couple weeks for $750. You know what I'm saying? And she's killing it right now.
Yeah.
Scaling up her business now, just using all this performance and ongoing performance and past performance as leverage, and using her social economical group as women-owned business. That created her crazy opportunity. So within 1 year, she generated over $1 million in federal government contracts.
Off of a free 1 hour consultation.
Yes, sir.
That's the power of taking action right there.
That's
just
the power of taking
of
action.
information.
Implementing the information that you get. Information is useless if you don't use it. It's useless if you don't use it. You're more worse than the person that don't know nothing if you know all the information and never applied it. You worse than the person that's ignorant.
That's the true ignorance.
Yes. You got the intel. You got the recipe to go cook up your meals. I ain't talking about MEALS. I'm talking about the MILL. You got the recipe to cook up your meals, and you talking about I'm starving, I'm hungry, but you got the recipe and you got the tools to go cook up your own opportunity. But you saying not today, maybe next week. See, procrastination is an arrogant way of thinking God owes you another day to do what you're supposed to do.
Say that one more time. I need redo that.
You got the right buttons in. Look at you.
I said, procrastination is an arrogant way of thinking that God owes you another day to do what you're supposed to do. You should not be procrastinating on your destiny. You should be doing, as my motto is, the small steps towards the big goal every day. That's how you tackle big shit. That's how you go after the big old goals. You say, okay, big old the big old goal. Because a lot of people get anxiety and stressed out by seeing the big old goal and they try, I gotta get there. This is how you get there. Day one, do the small steps. It's a check off list. What are the small steps I can do today? God gave me 24 hours to operate today. What I'm going to do today to get me towards my bigger goal? About 30 days pass, 90 days pass, 120 days by, you're going to be like, damn, I'm here. Because every day you was doing something small to get to that big goal. And most people want to do something big every day to get there. But really just take the little steps. Because it compounds. I call it compound gold interest. Because it's going to compound. It's going to go on top. And by you look your head up, you're going to be like, wow, we built something. Wow, we accomplished this. Wow, I didn't even know we smashed that goal. Like that. How I was going to take 6 new businesses to 6 figures in contract value. I knew the goal. I knew the vision. I spoke it. I speak it, believe it, and receive it. I spoke it out there. And I believed it. So damn sure I knew I was going to receive it. But it was no how I'm going to get here. I got to pour in every day. Every time I get on a call, every time I get a one-on-one coaching, I'm pouring in. I'm giving it all I got. I treat every client like it's my last client. I treat every platform that I speak on like this is going to be my last time speaking. I give it out. I give it all. Period. As long as I do that, it's going to create results. It's going to hit the airwaves. Somebody's going to get enlightened by this call right here. Somebody's going to get enlightened by this podcast interview right here. Somebody's going to turn the fuck up based off this information that we're giving out right now. That's what I get a thrive off of. That's what keeps me going. My adrenaline pumps up because I know somebody's going to receive this and turn up. And that's what keeps me going. Most people's like, how you wired up like that? Why you so wired up like that? Why you stay geeky? They would say, you know what I'm saying? Why you always on it? It's my passion. See, your passion comes first, and then your commitment. Because whatever you're passionate about, you're automatically committed to it. You're passionate about your significant other, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, right? Anything that you love, right? You're passionate. It automatically makes you committed. So when you're passionate about someone that you love, you automatically committed to loving them, which allows you to be consistent. So passion plus commitment equals consistency. So when you operate off of passion, you're going to automatically be committed. And when you're automatically committed, then you're going to be operating consistent. And when you operate consistent, can't nobody stop you. There's no resistance. There's no resistance when you're consistent. You feel me?
Man, you got the bars for real, man.
That's real. That's some real. It's not like it's just bars, just to say bars. That's real talk.
Yeah.
Like whenever you consistently focused on doing whatever it is that you need to be doing, the results gonna come.
Right.
It has to come because you're not, especially if you really working.
Right.
If you really working on some shit, you can't put in what. That's not how the universe works.
Nah.
If you pour into it, it's gotta come.
You're gonna get what you want.
Yeah.
The question is, are you ready for what you want? That's the $1 billion question I had to ask myself. Are you ready for what you want? A lot of people want this, want that, but are you ready? Are you physically ready? Are you spiritually ready? Are you mentally ready? Here I didn't say about financially ready, because you ain't got to be financially ready to go get whatever you want in life. You feel me? Your mindset is everything. If your mind ain't right, your grind ain't going to be tight. Simple. Mindset over everything. You have to have the mindset of that I am a doer, not just a thinker. I make actionable steps. All right? One of these dope entrepreneurs, you know, shout out to Nehemiah Davis, right? He said either it's going to work or it's going to work. He said success loves speed. You ain't moving on the opportunities that's laid out in front of you. How you think you're going to get to the next step? You dragging your feet when opportunity right there on the table, and you drag into it.
It's just waiting.
You better move with some. You better move with some sense of urgency, because these opportunities don't come all the time. You feel me? You got to be ready for what you want. You got to have that mindset. Either it's going to work or it's going to work. That's how my mindset is. That's how I'm just triggered. That's how I'm wired. Anything I touch turn to gold. I speak that into my life. It's going to work. I'm not worried about that. You feel me? Like when your mindset is like that, you on that Mamba mentality. You feel me? Read a dope book by Kobe Bryant. Man, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, legend.
But that even speaks to the preparation that goes into that. A lot of people are afraid or they doubt themselves because they're not prepared. They didn't do the work and take the necessary steps, like you said, to be ready to receive this stuff.
Right.
And that's why you have people who will doubt themselves and say, it might not work. Like Kobe Bryant. Kobe never gave a fuck about shooting the ball. He didn't care if it was going in or not.
Right.
You know why?
I'm going to shoot the shot.
Because he didn't put up 100, 200 reps the night before.
Right.
So it don't matter.
Right. Broken arm, still at the free throw line, practicing. You feel me? Like, that's that Mamba mentality that you got to have. All the greats, anybody successful that you think that's successful, that you admire, they all got something in common. And they're going to say the most thing that you hear that's generic all the time. They're going to say, man, your mind got to be right. They're not lying. Your mindset is everything. They all going to say that. Man, your mind got to be right. Because they know what it takes to get to a certain level. And they understood that my mindset got to be on point, on bars. You feel me? On high level. Because everything that comes into here, this is how powerful your shit is up here. Everything that come into here will come out. So what you let in, it was automatically going to go out. So you got to be more mindful about your brain. Is almost like it's like hardware. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what you put in your brain is the software. And sometimes, you know, your brain can't comprehend what you're being inputted into the actual hardware. It can't. So you gotta be mindful. It's overload. So you gotta be mindful of what you laying in, so you can understand what you laying out. So mindset is 1,000% key to everything that you want to do. Anything you want to do, period. It got to start. It start from the mind first. Global Connect started from the head. Start from an idea.
Even you getting that job with that company, you have to start with an idea. Like, right. Yo, I want to do this. I can do this. Right. An idea and a belief. And not like no half-ass, wholehearted belief.
Speak it. Believe it. Receive it. In that order. You can't speak on something, not believe it, and then think you're going to receive it. That's backwards. See, most people going to speak it, most people going to believe it, but most people think they don't supposed to receive it. And you got to have that other part of, I know this is for me. You got to have that aura when you walking out here in this world, that this is for me. Whatever I want to touch turn to gold. Whatever's for me is going to be for me. So I'm going to speak nothing but greatness over myself, right? And I'm going to believe that greatness, and that's how I'm going to receive that greatness. So that's the order. For me, I'm going to speak it, believe it, and I'm going to receive it. If I say I'm going to do something, consider it already done. If I say I'm going to do something, you can go cash that. You can take that word to the bank. They're going to make a withdrawal. Guaranteed. That's how I am.
It over here. Like that.
Yes, sir.
Honesty, integrity, and
smart work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Love it. So, Hamza, my brother, we're going to pivot to the last segment of the show.
Okay.
So we're going to go into what's in your world. So we're gonna ask you what's something you seen on the internet while you was out and about, maybe something
the airport.
in the airport that you just saw and it kind of stood out to you, and it was something that made you like want to speak on it.
Man, the power of being confident and be a power of knowing what's going to happen is going to happen if you believe it. So when we was on the airport on our way here, right, we were running real behind, right? Me and my assistant, we were running real behind in the airport to catch a flight. And we was going through TSA, and they had this long-ass line, right? And we was walking down, and I said, dang, this is a long line. But I said, something's about to happen for us to make it shorter. As soon as I said that, literally, a lady from the side turned around and said, you can come this way.
Look at that.
And we didn't have to stay in that long line. We were right in the short line, got through TSA, catch our flight. So it's like power of the tongue and being confident. And even when you don't see things that's going to go in your way, you got to believe that it will, because something will happen. You got to look for that opportunity. I said, let's slow down. We're walking too fast. Something's about to happen. In my life, that's exactly what just happened. And then the opportunity just opened up, and we just skipped right through that long line TSA. And the opportunity. So my thing is, use 2 ears, use 2 eyes, use 2 nose, all right, and use less of what you have one of, right? Be aware of this, what's going on in this world, because life's going to throw you the signs, life's going to throw you the symbols, life's going to throw you the opportunities, but you got to be able to use these senses so you can be able to receive them, be able to acknowledge them, be able to comprehend them, so you can apply and take advantage. And most of the time from just life itself, it comes from the world bringing it to you. But you may be turning your back to it. You may be in such a negative spirit that you don't even see that it's $1 million right there in your lap. You right? Somebody dropped a book on your lap, and you're like, man, somebody put this book on my lap, man.
I would like to read.
Man, get this book off me and threw it in the trash. And that was the recipe to making $1 million in government contracting. You follow me? But you were just asking, man, God, I need this, or the world, I need this, or I'm ready to do this. But you can't even use your senses or be aware of opportunities when it's laid out to you. It's seizing the moment.
This analogy I break it down to. You want the cake, but if God give you the ingredients to make it, you got to do it.
Exactly.
If He give you the flour, the eggs, the butter, and everything, you got it. You can have your cake. You just got to put the work in.
Exactly. That's all it takes. You take 2 steps towards your goals will take probably 20 steps towards you. As soon as you moving in that vibration, that frequency, that's when everything aligns. You know, they're like, oh, Brandon said that he's about to go win the government contract. All right, y'all know what y'all need to do, because he's putting in that work. Align it, make it work. They synergize. You feel me? And that all comes back from the power of the mind. You feel me? The power of the mind is everything.
Mind is not a joke, man. Hey, that's what's up, man. Like, it's that confidence. I like that message that you just shared. Keeping your mind open to receive those things that you really asking for. You can't take it if you can't receive it if you don't believe it. Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir.
But Hamza, my brother, we want to say thank you so much for coming out here, coming on the podcast, man. It's been a great episode. Definitely learned a lot myself, and I'm pretty sure everybody who tuned in got a chance to learn about these government contracts, learn more about you and just the different amazing work that Global Connect is doing and how they can get involved with y'all. So once again, for everybody, can I have you please plug yourself in and let them know how they can get at you if they want to, where they can find you, how they can tune into the show every week. Yes, sir.
So it's name of our website is We Global. Excuse me. It's We Global Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. We go live. Name of our website is www.theglobalconnects.com. You can sign up for a consultation for the 5-day boot camp. Also, our mentorship program will be rolling out in the next 60 days. Also, for the live calls that we do on IG, our Instagram is globalleader_. We go live every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go over government contracting. This is where you just come learn. Come learn the ins and outs of making the world's largest purchaser your customer. Also, you can check us out on Facebook, Global Connects, and our Twitter, the Global Connects LLC. That's our Twitter handle. We give out a lot of gems and content on Twitter as well.
Hey, y'all, make sure y'all tap into that.
Go follow my brother if you want to get on this government contracts. And I highly suggest, if you really, really interested, like you mentioned in there, he does those consultations. If you may be a person who is eligible, get on that because he can cut that learning curve down for you a lot. I know y'all need that. I know shit. You don't want to go out here and be one of them people that underbid and shoot yourself in the foot and all that. You don't need them headaches. You don't need them headaches. Go mess with an expert that already did it. They can teach you how to get it done.
Sure.
Yes, sir. So, with that, we're going to hop into a couple house cleaning items. As always, I want to say thank you for tuning into the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast every week. Please leave us those 5-star ratings and reviews. It helps us continue to grow the show and get the message out there to everyone. Join BWR Academy.
Yes.
The #1 community for personal finance and accountability.
#1.
Talk about it. Yeah. Y'all join that. Link down in the show notes. Weekly classes, weekly calls, just a lot of great community, great accountability. You can become a part of that. $27 a month.
7-day free trial.
Yep.
You get 7 days free access to come try it out, see if this is a place for you. But once again, the community is great. We hold each other accountable. We make sure that we are setting SMART goals that we can actually reach. And throughout the week, we follow up with each other. You know, are you actually staying on these goals? Are you actually doing what you said you was going to do? Because at the same day, like, we can lead a horse to water, but if you don't do it, ain't nothing we can do. But I'm going to remind you of what you said you were going to do. So I'm going to use your words against you.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, join that, BWR Academy. And other than that, this has been another great episode of the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast.
I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking. Then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out?
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce.
Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.